Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm finally back again after months of being away. I have to say that for a while it was kind of becoming boring for me to make videos because I kept making book hauls and unboxings and I was kind of bored with that. But I wasn't really reading so much anymore. I didn't know what to film, really. I didn't know because I couldn't post book reviews about books I haven't been reading. But now I've caught up, I've been doing a lot more reading. And I decided this summer, well this last half of the summer in August, to participate in the Magical N.E.W.T.s Readathon. So I'll post all of the information about that in the description bar below because it's a fellow booktuber who's organizing it, and I printed out this. So it's a Harry Potter themed readathon. It's called N.E.W.T.s, like the exams that you take in Harry Potter, so it's the nastily exhausting wizarding tests. And here you have a challenge. Because I didn't do the Owls Readathon back in April because I didn't know about it, it's gonna be very loose for me as a readathon, so I'm gonna try to use it to maximize my reading at the utmost in August because I just want to read as much as I can now because I know that during the school year I have a lot of work to do and I won't be able to do it, so I have a lot of personal reading to do as well as reading for potential books that I could teach to students. So I'm kind of going to use the readathon for myself but also try to integrate some books for school, which I haven't actually done so much. A few of them have been integrated, but yeah, so I'm really excited. Let's get to it because I have a lot of books. Because for some of the challenges I kind of added a lot of options just in case, because I'm really a mood reader. If I'm not in the mood to read a certain book, I won't read it, I'll read something else. So anyway, without further ado, let's get through it. So you can get this on the original video which announces the challenge, which again is listed down below. I printed it out, so it's like a letter telling you to be ready for your N.E.W.T.s, signed by McGonagall and Dumbledore. So what I'm going to do is read out to you which courses I'll be taking, or which ones I've tried to give a go, and I lost my paper. So that's very useful. Great start. So what you have to do is to at least pass 2 of the subjects and of our choice, and the second part is that in at least one of them you have to have an outstanding. So the grading goes as follows, as you might remember from the books. I don't remember all of them, I just remember T for troll, which is the worst grade you can get. So there's O for outstanding, there's E for exceeded expectations, A for acceptable. So if you have one of those, you passed. Then you have poor, P for poor. You run out of time, but you read 80% of the book. Then dreadful, D. You run out of time at around 50% of the book, and then troll, you run out of time around 20% of the book. So hopefully I won't get any T's. But yeah, so anyway, let me just prepare. I'll tell you which ones I have books prepared for and which ones I'll try to focus more on to try and get that reading challenge done. So, let's see. So for Ancient Runes, I'm just going to try and reach for an acceptable, so read one book, and it has to be a book set in the past. So I have 2 books prepared depending on my mood. I first have a book that I've been meaning to read for a really long time, heard great things about, and have been avoiding to watch the movie simply because the book I heard was incredible, so I don't want to ruin it with the movie. And that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. And I've heard great things about it since I was in high school and I still haven't read it. So I think it might be time to read it. But in case I do not want to read it, which I don't think is very probable, I have a very good second option of a book that I've discovered recently. And the title of that book is Fatal Throne. And this is written by several authors, and it's The Wives of Henry VIII Tell All. Because Henry VIII was married several times, and here are their stories told from their perspective. And I've actually heard a part of the audiobook, and it sounds incredible, so I'm kind of thinking I might read this along with the audiobook because he was married initially to Catherine of Aragon, which was his first wife, and she was Spanish, so in the audiobook the reader actually reads with a Spanish accent, so it gives an extra little dimension to the story. So I don't know, maybe I'll wait till I get the audiobook for that and just go ahead with this. I don't know, but both sound really great and I really want to read them. Next, I have astronomy. So here I have books for all 3 of the grades, so acceptable, exceeding expectations, and outstanding. So to get a acceptable, you have to read a book with stars on the cover. So I decided, again, a book I've been meaning to read for a while, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. So as you can see, maybe not, there are a few stars on the cover, so for me that counts. As long as there are stars on the cover, it works. So that's one. To get a exceeding expectation, the book has to have the book title has to have the word sky in it. And so I decided to read Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I've heard great things about it, that the main female character is badass, and so I'm really wanting to read it, and I have a signed edition of the book, so might as well, you know, enjoy it. And just a side note, in case it wasn't clear, to be able to get an outstanding, first you have to read the acceptable book, then the exceeding expectations book, then the outstanding book. You can't combine the challenges, so to get an outstanding you have to at least read 3 full books. So that's the challenge to it. Otherwise I would be able to do most of these, but that's what's going to take time. And then anyway, to get an outstanding for astronomy, you need to have a story set on a different planet or in a different world. So I have quite a lot of those books. So I decided to go more for a different planet because I don't read a lot of intergalactic kind of books, and I do own a few of them. So I selected 2, though I have a 3rd one in mind that's sitting, well, 4 in mind in total. They're up there in that shelf. But first choice is Stars Above, which is a collection of stories set in the Lunar Chronicles series, because I have finished the series, but I just haven't read any of the short stories, so might as well return to that world because I absolutely enjoyed the series. So maybe it would be nice, and short stories will change up a bit from my reading because all of these I believe are novels. I don't think I have any other short story collections, so maybe it'll break up a bit the novel reading. Or I have another very different book, and that's Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Again, I've owned this since its release date, and now the whole trilogy is released. So I'm kind of behind on that. And I got this book because it looks really cool inside. Let me show you. It's told in like different file formats, in texts, in crossed out things, files, you know, and it's actually pretty cool. You have darker pages. There's some pages that are like this. Like, what? So it's really reinventing, well, not reinventing, but look at that. How am I gonna, isn't it cool? That's just, so I'm, you know, either short stories or cool other stuff, because this one's humongous. So depending on how my challenges are going, I might choose to do this one or the other. We'll see. Options. I like my options. Then we go on to Care of Magical Creatures. So here again I have books for all 3 possible grades. For acceptable, you need to have a book, read a book with an animal on the cover. So I chose Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So this is the first book in the Grishaverse. I still haven't read it again. I've heard great things about it. In fact, such great things, I already went ahead and bought the 2nd and 3rd books, because also this is like the new cover. They re-released the books with new covers and I adore them. I wasn't a big fan of the other ones, but with this cover I'm willing to read it. I know, don't judge a book by its cover, but when you have 2 possible choices of the same thing, you're gonna choose the better one. Moving on. If you want to have exceeding expectations, you need to read a book under 160 pages. So I thought it was going to be easy. I had a few, but actually no. Some of my shorter books are at least 170 pages. But then I found a book, and it actually fits for a Care of Magical Creatures. It's called De la terrible et magnifique Histoire des créatures les plus moches de l'univers. So basically, the incredible stories of the most horrible creatures no, the most horrible, like in a ugly way, the most ugly creatures in the whole universe. So, you know, Hagrid would enjoy this. It's under 160 words. I think it's 157, something like that. 153. So, just under. Works. Then, if you want to get an outstanding, you need to read a book that includes dragons in any way. So, again, I have a few of them, and I narrowed down the selection to not one, not two, but 3 books, and I still have more. So again, very different books, depending on my reading mood, depending on how the challenge is going. Once again, if I even get to read all those books, because in 1 month I probably won't read that. I don't even read that in a year, and there's more coming. So we have The Dragon with a Chocolate Heart by Stephanie Burgess. So this is middle grade book, but it sounded so cute, and I love dragons, I love chocolate, so both of them together, why not? Next choice is a book, again, that I've been meaning to read, but it sounds very similar to another book I have read in the past. That's why I haven't really jumped on the occasion to read it. It's there just in case I feel like reading it, but I haven't really, I don't know if I'll actually read it, but we'll see. So it's Talon by Julie Kagawa. I've heard great things about her other books. I never picked them up because I don't know. So we'll see. But it sounds very similar to another book I have read. Well, I'm just scared it's going to be the exact same story, or very close. Or I have another option, once again. It's called Before She Ignites. It's by Jodi Meadows, and the cover and everything around it seems to suggest dragons. So, and they talk about dragons, but I don't know what their role is. So I might be interested. Maybe she's like, maybe she'll transform into a dragon. Who knows? Then we move on to Charms. I really like Charms because, and I kind of really want to meet those challenges because if I were a witch going to Hogwarts, I think Charms might be a lesson I would actually enjoy. Care of Magical Creatures as well. So, easy enough. To get an acceptable, you need to read a book with magic in it. So again, I have 2 options for this one. I have Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Again, heard great things about it because I read Fangirl and there are excerpts of this, and it sounds really fun, and it's LGBTQ plus story romance, so it looks great, and I think it was a bit inspired from Harry Potter, so maybe it's actually a great book to go with this challenge. Second option is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Again, I've owned this book since its release. I absolutely adore the cover. I've heard multiple fantastic things about it. I am already planning on buying the sequel, although I haven't even read this, but it looks amazing. And as a fan of the Night Circus, like I adored the Night Circus, I think I'm going to love this, even if it's very different. I don't know, something about circus settings, things, magical, I don't know, it drew me in. And look at it shimmer. I might read this one. I don't know, maybe all of them. I want to read all my books. I have over 200 unread books on my shelves, and I keep buying more. I'm overwhelmed with books, but I love it. Alright, let's move on. Let's get serious again. To get an Exceeding Expectations, you need to read a book with a cover that has charmed you. Because it's Charms. So here it was a very quick pick because I almost bought this book purely for its cover, and that is The Surface Breaks. It's a reimagination of The Little Mermaid by Louise O'Neill. Look at the cover, isn't it glorious? I saw it was being released and I was like, okay, let's buy it, and then I'm like, maybe I should check what it's about. Then I saw it was a retelling. I love fairy tale retellings, especially if they have a special twist to them, so this looks like something I'll really enjoy. And then to get an outstanding, you need to read a book that you think will leave a mark. So again, I think this was pretty easy for me. Because it's a book I heard great things about. A lot of people said it really has had an impact on them, and the book is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So as you can tell, it's already won like 3 awards, maybe more since I bought the book, and I'm just scared to read it because of I'm a crier, okay? Whether it's Harry, I'm talking, it's my cat. I'm a crier, so I may cry. I know, later, not now. My Fluffy. Look at his beautiful eyes. My purring. This is King Harry. So fluffy and soft. He likes attention when I'm busy. And when I give him attention, he sleeps. Yes, it's true. You know it. Of course, during exams, during the N.E.W.T.s, Harry will come with me to prepare especially. He likes to sleep on my book. I'm talking! He won't stop. So let me take a break just to feed my magical cats. Because there's also Ginny, the little one. Let's go. I'm back. So, technically, they always have food around. It's just that they like the sweets at certain times of the day. So that's just... They're such spoiled cats. Because if they're really hungry, they have food available. So, just so you know. Next challenge is for Defense Against the Dark Arts. So, when I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing it. And then I saw challenges, and knowing the available books, I wasn't too keen on doing it, so I still don't know if I'll do it. I have books prepared just in case, but we'll see. So to get it acceptable, and that's where the challenge blocked, is you have to read the last book in a series. So the thing is, I'm not anywhere in the very last book in a series. I'm in the last book of a trilogy, but that was later expanded into a series. Although you could technically say it was a trilogy followed by companion books. So I don't know if this would really fit. That's just the thing. For the next books I'm okay, but just to get that acceptable. And it's a book I'm not too excited about. I mean, I want to read it, but I'm not very excited to read it. But we'll see, maybe I'll change my mind. And that's The One by Kira Cass. Then you have to read a book that has foil on it, so a foiled book. That means that shiny bit of stuff that you see on covers, like, ooh, you can't see it very well, but it's all the gray is foil. So I'm reading actually several books with foil on them, so, and I have quite a few around. But I think this is going to be the pick. So it's The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw, and it seems like it's a very dark story. It's about three sisters who will come back and take revenge, and in the future, drowning guys or something like that who are innocent. It's a very dark story with witches, and it looks very intriguing, very different. I think if I don't read it now, I'll read it in October around Halloween time just to get in the feel of it. It has that kind of darkish, creepy vibe to it, apparently. Then you need to read a book with the word dark in the title or series name. So that's pretty easy because there are again a few of them. But I decided on One Dark Throne, which is the sequel to Three Dark Crowns. Three Dark Crowns was a book that initially I had a hard time to get into because the story took a while to pick up, but it was intriguing enough to keep me intrigued. And in the last bit of the book, the pace went just like a train, like, and it was pretty incredible. I was wowed. I loved the twist at the end. And so I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm just hoping it won't start off slow like the first one did. I already have an incredible amount of books that I probably never will get to read. So I decided to skip Divination altogether because it kind of crosses over with some books I already have. Then for Herbology, I decided to just, if I do it, to just try and get an acceptable, and that's easy. To get an acceptable, you have to read a book with a green cover. And luckily, because I have a special edition, this book has a green cover. The original has a black one. It's The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. And I'm very excited to read it. It sounds incredible. It's beautiful. And again, see, it's a foil cover. I think it has magic in it. It's a retelling, which is also one of the challenges in one of them. So I could read it for another challenge if I wanted to. So there you go again. I decided again to skip A History of Magic simply because the first one was a bit difficult to achieve. It's a book that would fit into a Hogwarts library. I do have some nice books, but I don't know if I'll really be able to find one. And again, too many books. Although the rest of the challenges are quite nice. I decided to do the Muggle Studies one. Just the first level again. A book written by a favorite author. 3 options for this one. all by the same author. So the first book is The Archive by Victoria Schwab. It was on my summer reading list along with the other two. So I'm very excited to read it. I haven't read it. I love Victoria Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. It was one of my favorite, and I really love her writing. She's very inspiring as well on social media and everything, so she inspires me to write. So, The Archived. Then by same author, she goes by V.E. Schwab for older readers. Vicious. The sequel's coming out in September, so I really, really want to read it. Again, heard great things about it. It was republished with this cover recently. And then the next book, also by V.E. Schwab, This Savage Song. It's the first book in the duology. And again, really looking forward to it. I really want to read all three, so I really want to, but I don't know if I'll have time to, especially with all the other books to consider. So there you have it. Those are the challenges I'll be doing, except that today we are still the 31st of July as I film this. Happy birthday J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter, by the way. And I still have to finish another book I'm currently reading. And that is La Chambre des Merveilles by Julien Sandrel. I'm not even halfway through. It's good. It's picking up. So who knows, maybe if I sit down and read this evening, I might get through most of it. So before I even get to start the challenge, I need to finish this. And another short story collection and other books I need to read for a course I'll be doing this summer. So, I quite have a lot on my plate, on my bookshelf. So, there you have it. You have an idea of what I might be doing this summer. Also, if you guys want to participate in this readathon, please go check out the link below. Once again, I link the original video where you can find in their original video description link this document, which you can print out or just download on your computer, which kind of tells you what you have to do for each class for your challenge. So there you go. Get yourself ready for some intense reading this August. Not to mention that I'll also be working on my own book because I'm writing. I've done some nice progress. I've developed the story quite a bit, and I really want to do a writing series, which I've been wanting to do for months, maybe over a year now. Maybe it'll help me hold myself accountable to write more. Because this month I've written over 5,000 words, which isn't so much, but I've not just written, I've also been doing a lot of plotting and planning for the book, which I have so many exciting things. I'm so very excited about it because I've had this idea since I was in high school, and the story has been with me for a long time, and it's kept developing into what it's becoming today, and I'm quite happy and proud of what it could become. So I want to do a writing series about it. If you want, or if you're interested in something like that, please leave a comment down below. And even if you don't give a comment, maybe I'll just try it out and we'll see. But yeah, so this has been a very long video. Let me just cut it off here, and thank you so much for watching. Please don't hesitate if you're joining in, let me know. I might post on Instagram how I'm doing. Keep in touch. You can find everything down below, and see you again very soon. Bye.